Welcome to Trending Unpacked, the show that dives into what the world's been searching for and why it matters. Today, we are soaring into the stratosphere of pop culture. You see, if you've been anywhere near the internet, or even just caught a glimpse of a headline, you'll know that in 2025, one name is absolutely dominating the trending charts: Superman. This isn't just another superhero story. It's the highly anticipated reboot, poised to redefine an icon and potentially, well, an entire cinematic universe.
That's exactly right. The buzz around this new Superman film it's immense, and for some very compelling reasons. It's far more than just, a new actor donning the iconic cape. This marks a complete creative reset, a foundational shift for the entire DC cinematic landscape.
Okay.
So our mission for this deep dive, basically, is to unpack all the specifics of this new Superman film, its profound significance for the broader DC universe, and, of course, the fervent, sometimes incredibly intense fan reactions swirling online.
Right. We're going to explore what makes this particular return of Superman so compelling right now, what it might mean for the future of superhero narratives, as a whole, and why, after decades of reinterpretation and adaptation, this character still holds such an unparalleled grip on our collective imagination.
Yeah.
So let's unpack this, starting with the foundational details, the stuff that sparked so much conversation already.
Let's go.
First up, let's talk about the official blueprint for this new era. The film, which, well, many initially knew as Superman, Legacy,
Right.
has now been officially titled simply Superman. And the visionary force behind it, James Gunn. He's not just directing, he's writing it too.
Yeah, and that simplification of the title from Legacy to just Superman, that's a really powerful, deliberate statement, I think.
How so?
Well, legacy implies a weight, doesn't it? A
Yeah.
history, something inherited that might burden the character or require him to live up to past iterations. It suggests looking backwards. By shedding that and just calling it Superman, it asserts this film as the definitive interpretation for this new era. It's bold, it's confident, kind of back-to-basics approach. It implies a foundational, almost unvarnished Man of Steel saying, this is it, this is our Superman. It's a way of claiming immediate ownership, signifying a fresh start without all the baggage.
That's a really sharp observation. And when you factor in James Gunn's involvement, well, that definitive feeling takes on even more weight, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
His reputation is pretty solid. We've seen his unique blend of humor, genuine heart, and deeply character-driven storytelling in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, Marja stuff.
And the Suicide Squad for DC, which was, really well received.
Critically acclaimed, yeah.
So, given that eclectic body of work, what kind of directorial style and narrative sensibilities can we really expect him to bring to the Man of Steel? Is it going to be quirky, a bit irreverent maybe, or something else?
It's a great question. When you look at his filmography, he has this uncanny ability to take ensemble casts, often with characters who are unconventional or even deeply flawed.
Yeah, the Guardians, total misfits.
Exactly. Bunch of misfits, yet he imbued them with profound emotional depth and made their relationships the absolute beating heart of the story. With the Suicide Squad, he navigated this really dark, violent landscape, but still found moments of surprising camaraderie, vulnerability, even laugh-out-loud humor, but always in service of the characters.
Right. It never felt cheap.
Never. So for Superman, this translates into expectations of a film that goes beyond just flashy powers or epic battles, though I'm sure those will be spectacular. It's going to be intensely character-driven. We can anticipate his signature blend of unexpected humor, but crucially, I think it will always serve the story and the character's emotional arcs. Never at the expense of Superman's inherent sincerity or integrity. We'll likely see a focus on what makes Clark Kent tick, his internal struggles, his moral compass, rather than just what Superman can physically do. Gunn's involvement immediately sets a very specific tone and expectation for the entire cinematic universe, one that prioritizes emotional resonance, strong character development, and a unique voice, while still delivering that superhero spectacle we expect.
And that commitment to deep character work, which Gunn is known for, is absolutely crucial because this film isn't just a Superman movie.
No way.
It's the inaugural film for an entirely new DC universe, slated for July 2025 release, right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
And it's the very first DCU film under the new leadership of James Gunn and Peter Safran.
This really highlights the immense pressure and profound significance of this project. It's not simply a standalone film. It's the absolute cornerstone, the cornerstone of an entirely new cinematic universe, specifically dubbed DCU Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. That's their title for the first phase.
Gods and Monsters. Okay.
Its success is paramount.
Yeah.
It sets the precedent, the tone, the quality standard for all subsequent DCU projects.
Yeah.
Think back to how Iron Man, wasn't just about launching Tony Stark.
It launched everything.
It launched everything. It established the whole MCU's interconnected narrative and tone.
Mm-hmm.
If Superman doesn't land effectively, well, the ambitious rebuild of the DCU starts on incredibly shaky ground. It makes this film arguably the most critical superhero movie of the next few years. No exaggeration.
And this isn't merely a new beginning, is it? It feels directly tied to that fervent fan anticipation for what many are calling DC's creative reset, especially after what the sources politely call uneven DCEU reception. It feels like a deliberate course correction.
Precisely. That uneven DCEU reception is, a diplomatic way of saying the previous iteration, the DCEU, often struggled.
Big time.
Narrative coherence issues, inconsistent tone, sometimes character interpretations that really split the fan base. It led to a fragmented and, let's be honest, often criticized cinematic universe.
Yeah.
This new Superman is strategically positioned as the anchor of an ambitious, comprehensive rebuild. What this reset implies for the overall narrative coherence and interconnectedness, well, it suggests a much tighter, more unified, and consistently visionary approach.
Hopefully.
Gunn and Safran are clearly aiming to build a universe where characters, stories, tones feel inherently connected and consistent, avoiding the pitfalls of those previous, more disparate efforts.
And starting with Superman sends a message.
A huge message. Launching with Superman as the flagship signals a very clear strategic direction. They want to emphasize classic heroism, hope, inspiration, rather than starting with darker, more cynical characters or storylines.
Right.
It's a bold statement about the kind of universe they intend to construct, one that prioritizes a cohesive narrative and a clear thematic identity from the ground up, trying to attract a broader audience while, reassuring the existing fans.
Okay, so we understand the creative vision, the monumental task it faces. But who are the faces bringing this grand vision to life? The new core cast. That's been a major point of discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
Igniting countless debates online. We have David Corenswet stepping into the formidable boots of Clark Kent and Superman, Rachel Brosnahan as the indomitable Lois Lane,
Great choice.
and Nicholas Hoult confirmed as Lex Luthor.
That was really interesting. These casting choices are incredibly telling about the intended portrayals, and they've certainly stirred the pot online.
Let's start with Corenswet. Casting a relatively newer face, maybe a bit younger seeming than Cavill, what does that signal?
Well, casting Corenswet, especially in contrast to the more established Henry Cavill or, the legendary Christopher Reeve, immediately signals a fresh start. It suggests a Superman who is maybe still growing into his role, perhaps slightly less seasoned, more relatable in his journey.
Like he doesn't have it all figured out yet.
Exactly. This isn't a Superman who has all the answers from day one.
Yeah.
He's learning, adapting, finding his place. Corenswet has this classic, earnest, leading man quality, which could perfectly embody that genuine, compassionate core of Clark Kent that fans cherish, while also, having the physical presence for Superman.
And Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, I find that particularly exciting. Her background, especially the marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Brilliant in that.
She's incredibly witty, intelligent, sharp-tongued, strong. What kind of Lois does that casting signal to you? How might she play off Corenswet's Superman?
Her casting for Lois is, I think, a brilliant stroke. It immediately conveys a very specific, dynamic type of character.
Yeah.
Brosnahan excels at portraying sharp, independent, quick-witted women who can more than hold their own, often with that rapid-fire delivery.
Yeah, she talks fast.
Right. This suggests a Lois Lane, who is not just a love interest or someone to be rescued, but a formidable investigative journalist. A true intellectual and emotional partner to Clark. A character with undeniable agency and her own compelling story. She'll likely be intelligent, tenacious, perhaps even a bit feisty and impatient with bureaucracy.
So the classic Lois Lane traits.
Exactly. The kind of Lois who challenges and compliments Superman, making him a better hero just by being herself. Her energy will undoubtedly provide a fantastic counterpoint to Corenswet's potentially more understated earnestness.
Okay, and then there's Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. We've seen him in such a diverse range of roles. Mad Max, Fury Road, The Great.
So versatile.
What kind of intellectual, maybe even physically formidable adversary might he embody? How does his casting shape what we expect from Lex this time around?
Nicholas Hoult as Lex. Wow, that offers tremendous potential for a nuanced, complex portrayal, moving beyond just the stereotypical bald villain, right?
Sure.
Holt is incredibly versatile. He can convey intense, calculating intelligence, chilling menace, even a degree of tragic vulnerability or obsessive insecurity. This isn't just about a bald billionaire. Holt could bring a different kind of intensity, maybe not brute strength, but commanding presence, intellectual arrogance, or even a sort of manic, unhinged energy fueled by his perceived superiority.
Interesting, like a different kind of threat.
Exactly. We might see a Lex who is brilliant but
Yeah.
deeply insecure, perhaps driven by a profound, almost philosophical jealousy of Superman's very existence. A man who sees Superman as an affront to human potential, not just pure evil. His prior roles show he can embody characters consumed by a singular drive, which is perfect for Lex's obsession. And yeah, the audience's immediate expectations are shaped by these announcements. Every actor's past roles become a lens for fans to project hopes and fears. It generates buzz, debate, speculation.
Instantly.
It's a testament to how deeply invested audiences are in these iconic figures and getting them right, but also getting something fresh.
So we have the team, the vision, the massive stakes. But what about the story itself? One of the most talked about decisions is that this film will not be another origin tale.
Right. Big decision.
That feels significant, especially for a character as globally recognized as Superman.
It's a crucial strategic move, absolutely. And it reflects, I think, a maturing of the superhero genre. Think about it. How many times have we seen baby Kal-El rocketed from Krypton, crash landing in Kansas, found by the Kents, discovering his powers?
A lot.
Exactly. Audiences, especially those who've grown up with superhero films, are incredibly familiar with Superman's basic origin. By skipping it, Gunn and Safran are assuming that knowledge and respecting that familiarity.
It acknowledges he's just part of the cultural furniture now.
Pretty much. You just don't need to re-explain the basic backstory from scratch again. This decision liberates the narrative to immediately dive into something fresh.
And how does that affect the story they can tell? What does skipping the origin allow them to do? And how does it cater to an audience maybe tired of origin stories?
It allows for incredible narrative efficiency. It prevents that potential audience fatigue. Instead of dedicating the whole first act, or a big chunk of it, to setting up stuff we already know,
Right.
the film can immediately plunge into new conflicts, deeper character development, unique challenges for Clark Kent as an already established hero.
So we meet him already being Superman.
Pretty much. Imagine, instead of a slow build-up to powers and first flight, we could immediately see Clark juggling his job at the Daily Planet with a sophisticated supervillain threat in Metropolis, or grappling with a deeply personal dilemma tied to his Kryptonian past. Maybe even interacting with other established DC characters right from the start.
That would be cool.
This strategy caters to a modern audience ready to move beyond the foundational myths. It signals confidence. It jumps straight into compelling high-stakes narratives, focusing on why Superman is the hero he is, the complexities of his adult life, rather than just how he became one.
Moving forward, not looking back.
Yeah.
That choice to skip the origin leads right into the film's core thematic focus. If we're not getting the how, what are we getting? The film explicitly picks up with Clark balancing his dual identity, Kryptonian heritage, human upbringing.
And this specific thematic focus is presented as a central pillar. It's a brilliant choice because it gets right to the very heart of Superman's enduring identity and appeal. He has this godlike power, this alien lineage, but he was fundamentally raised with humble, compassionate, deeply human values by the Kents in Kansas.
The ultimate immigrant story, in a way.
The huge way. This inherent duality is the core conflict, the constant internal negotiation that defines him. How does someone with that power choose instead to, meticulously save a cat from a tree?
Or just listen to someone's problem.
Right. How does he reconcile his alien lineage and cosmic knowledge with the grounded ethical lessons from his human parents? This internal conflict drives his choices, his struggles, his constant pursuit of what's right. It elevates the story beyond just demonstrating powers. It delves into the profound moral and ethical dilemmas that come with them. It makes him relatable, despite being basically a god from space.
And this isn't just about superpowers or being an alien, is it? This theme of balancing heritage and upbringing, that feels incredibly resonant for us right now. It speaks to something deeper.
Oh, absolutely. It taps into something universal. What stands out here is how these themes connect to broader, timeless human experiences of identity, belonging, reconciling different aspects of yourself.
We all kind of do that.
We all grapple with various facets of our identity, family background, cultural heritage, the values we were taught, the persona we present, who we aspire to be. How do we synthesize those different parts? How do we find belonging when we feel like an outsider or when our inherent capabilities set us apart? This concept of balancing provides incredibly rich ground for emotional depth and character growth.
Makes him feel human, even though he's not.
Exactly. So for you, the listener, grappling with identity, finding your place, seeking balance in this complex, often overwhelming world, that's a constant challenge. This film promises to explore those very human struggles through a superhuman lens. It makes the narrative relevant far beyond capes and tights, and it directly influences the overall tone of the film, which is a major shift.
Absolutely. This brings us to a huge point of discussion, maybe the most anticipated aspect for many fans, especially after the debates of the past decade. A deliberate shift in tone. James Gunn has explicitly described the expected tone as optimistic, inspiring, and less gritty than the Snyderverse.
Very deliberate phrasing.
That feels like a very conscious, almost defiant choice.
It is a profoundly conscious choice.
Yeah.
A clear statement of intent, not just for this film, but for the whole DCU moving forward. For a long time, especially after Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy and then throughout the Snyderverse films,
Yeah, things got dark.
there was a prevailing trend towards darker, grittier, more cynical superhero narratives, exploring moral ambiguities, the burden of power, deconstructing heroism itself.
Right.
Gunn's explicit choice to go optimistic for Superman is a direct counter-narrative. It fundamentally asks, what does optimistic truly mean for a superhero today, especially one like Superman? It doesn't mean naive or simplistic. It means a hero who believes in hope, in the inherent goodness of humanity, who inspires action and courage rather than brooding in the shadows.
So how can a film be truly inspiring without feeling cheesy or overly simplistic? Audiences are pretty savvy now.
That's the challenge.
What aspects of Superman's character naturally lend themselves to that truly inspiring portrayal, and why might now be the right time for this kind of shift?
Well, Superman, at his purest, is inspiration. He doesn't fight out of vengeance or personal trauma.
Like Batman.
Exactly. He fights out of a profound sense of responsibility and a deep, unconditional love for humanity. An inspiring portrayal emphasizes his compassion, his selflessness, his unwavering moral compass, his joy in helping. It's about his ability to bring out the best in people, not just punch villains. Think about the classic Golden Age Superman saving a kitten from a tree just as readily as stopping a train.
The small stuff matters too.
The quiet acts of kindness, the everyday heroism as much as the globe-trotting feats, this approach leans into the purest form of heroism, where hope isn't childish. It's a powerful, active force. It feels like a much-needed antidote to the cynicism that often permeates modern storytelling. After years of deconstruction, maybe there's a growing hunger for sincerity, for heroes who are unequivocally good.
A return to basics, in a way.
The shift for Superman could perfectly capture that cultural appetite.
And you mentioned the direct contrast with the Snyderverse. For listeners who might not be as deep in the lore or maybe are just tuning in for this reset, what defined that gritty tone? And how specifically will less gritty look and feel in this new Superman? It really feels like a course correction.
Okay, so the Snyderverse films, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, they were characterized by a very dark, often desaturated visual look.
Yeah, lots of gray and blue.
A heavy, somber tone, and that conscious effort to deconstruct the superhero myth. Superman often felt burdened by his powers, wrestling with his place in a world that feared him, facing existential dilemmas, not just being a clear beacon of hope.
He seemed kind of sad sometimes.
Yeah, the narratives were complex, often bleak. Heroes were flawed, troubled, morally ambiguous. Less gritty will manifest in distinct ways in Gunn's Superman, visually.
Yeah.
Expect brighter colors, more vibrant cinematography, evoking that classic, iconic Superman imagery from comics and animation. Maybe even more practical effects, like the focus points suggest, for a tangible feel.
Like the Donner films, maybe.
Potentially drawing inspiration there, yeah. Narratively, the focus will likely be on clear-cut heroism, less ambiguity in his choices, more emphasis on his role as protector, inspirer, and ideal. Thematically, it means moving away from the burden of power to maybe the joy of helping, from alienation to acceptance, from cynicism to genuine optimism.
Gotcha.
It's a clear signal the DCU is shifting gears, aiming for a more hopeful, accessible entry point, and arguably returning to the purest roots of what makes these characters so popular.
So if this tonal shift works, if it really takes hold, What could that mean for superhero storytelling overall? Is there a growing audience appetite for sincerity, for pure heroism after years of deconstruction and maybe some Marvel fatigue?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Could this Superman mark a real turning point?
It could. The superhero genre has definitely been through cycles. After years of deconstruction, darker narratives, maybe certain formula fatigue from extended universes, there seems to be a subtle craving for something different. This move towards unwavering optimism and sincerity, led by Superman, could signal a broader trend. Audiences might be ready for heroes who genuinely represent hope, who aren't constantly tormented or morally compromised,
Heroes who just do the right thing.
who unequivocally fight for what's right simply because it is right. It's a gamble, of course. Modern audiences demand nuance. But if Gunn can execute this vision authentically, an inspiring Superman could resonate deeply precisely because it offers that powerful counter-narrative to prevailing cynicism, providing a much-needed sense of aspiration, idealism,
Like maybe the pendulum is swinging back?
possibly, back towards appreciating the archetypal hero who reminds us of our best selves. This tonal shift isn't just creative, it's a response to, and maybe an anticipation of, audience desires. And it has already ignited massive conversation online.
Which brings us right to fan reactions in that internet echo chamber.
Oh, it's loud.
And intense it is. Massive discourse on social media since the first announcements. Hashtags like hashtag Superman 2025, hashtag James Gunn DCU, hashtag David Cornsweat. They're dominating. And it's fueled by that fan anticipation for DC's reset after the uneven DCEU reception. It's a real crucible of excitement, hope, and often brutal scrutiny.
It really highlights why Superman, specifically this reboot, generates such intense, immediate online talk. It speaks to his enduring legacy, his global cultural significance. Superman is arguably the superhero archetype. Everyone has a connection, an idea of who he should be. So when a new version is announced, the fan investment is profound, deeply personal.
Everyone's got an opinion.
Everyone. Social media then acts as both this huge sounding board for excitement and a relentless crucible for skepticism. Every single detail, casting, tone, leaked photos, rumored costume reveals.
The costume breakdowns are intense.
Oh yeah, TikTok edits, Twitter memes, fan trailers.
Yeah.
It's all analyzed, debated, celebrated, or condemned almost instantly.
It's amazing how fast a single announcement blows up. What does the prominence of hashtag James Gunn DCU suggest about his personal brand in this reset?
It clearly shows a significant chunk of the fan base has placed their trust, their hopes for the DCU's future squarely on Gunn's shoulders. He's the architect now. He's meticulously built a strong personal brand based on his style, his fan engagement, his perceived ability to deliver quality, character-driven superhero stories. His name is the reset for many.
And hashtag David Cornsweat. That highlights the focus on the actor, right?
Yep.
Especially compared to Cavill or Reeve.
Totally. It highlights the immense scrutiny and personal investment that comes with taking on that role. Fans are meticulously scrutinizing his past work, his look, his demeanor. They're comparing him directly to Cavill's more stoic take or Reeve's classic earnestness, trying to gauge if he is their Superman.
A huge weight on his shoulders.
It reflects that deep personal connection fans have and their desperate desire for the new actor to embody all the qualities they cherish. It's an immediate, often divided barometer of public sentiment. Eager anticipation versus cautious, critical optimism.
So on one hand, you have this incredible fan anticipation for DC's creative reset, but that anticipation almost always comes with intense, unyielding scrutiny.
Always.
Every piece of news dissected, reacted to instantly. It must raise expectations to crazy heights.
It's absolutely a double-edged sword. It generates unparalleled hype, ensures massive visibility, great marketing. But it also sets impossibly high expectations. Fans have spent years debating what went wrong, outlining grievances. Now they expect this reboot to be perfect, to fix everything, to deliver on decades of hope.
That's a lot to live up to.
So every little thing, casting, plot rumors, set photos, isn't just observed, it's dissected, debated with an intensity few other franchises experience. It creates this constant, powerful feedback loop, which, while valuable for gauging sentiment, can also be overwhelming for the filmmakers. The challenge is immense. Can this online discourse build hype without setting expectations so high it becomes a no-win scenario?
A real tightrope walk.
That Gunn and Safran are navigating very publicly.
And as listeners, you know we're all part of this, whether we're actively posting or just scrolling through the takes. Why do we, as an audience, care so deeply about these characters? How does engaging with online fandom shape our own perceptions?
We care so deeply because these characters are more than just entertainment. They're modern myths, cultural touchstones embodying our ideals, fears, aspirations. Superman especially represents something fundamental about hope, goodness, human potential. When a beloved character is rebooted, it feels like a reinterpretation, even a reclamation of shared cultural heritage.
It feels personal.
It does. As for how online fandom shapes perceptions, it's a constant reminder of the raw passion audiences bring. People aren't just passively consuming, they're invested, they want to be part of the conversation, they contribute, they genuinely want these characters to succeed.
Even when they're critical.
Even then, the challenge is sorting constructive feedback from noise or toxicity. But the underlying passion is undeniable. This whole online fervor really underscores the critical juncture superhero narratives are at, right now, poised between deconstruction and maybe a return to sincerity.
Okay, let's try and unpack this all, bring it home. We've covered a remarkable amount today. We talked about the definitive new title, Superman, and the clear direction under James Gunn, the carefully chosen core cast, David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult. That significant narrative decision to skip the origin, focusing instead on Clark's balancing act, Kryptonian heritage, human upbringing.
The core conflict.
And of course, that bold fundamental shift to an optimistic, truly inspiring tone, directly addressing past uneven reception, signaling a return to the character's hopeful roots.
Yeah, and connecting this to the bigger picture, the overall mission of the Superman film is truly immense. It's not just standalone. It's designed as the bedrock, the foundational statement for the entire new DCU Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. The weight of expectations is staggering.
Huge pressure.
Given the ambition of this reset and Gunn's strategy of connecting that Golden Age nostalgia with modern values, it needs to succeed not just as a film, but as a robust, unifying statement for a whole universe. Setting the stage, proving sincerity can still resonate.
So what does this all mean for us, for you listening? Why does Superman matter so profoundly right now? In a world that often feels complex, divided, maybe a bit cynical, what does this deliberate return to an optimistic, inspiring superhero symbolize?
Big question.
Can a sincerely hopeful and truly inspiring superhero narrative not only find its place, but actually resonate deeply with modern audiences? Can it move beyond cynicism, provide that needed sense of aspiration? What does it say about our current cultural appetite if this optimistic vision truly takes flight? What kind of heroes do we ultimately need in 2025?
Those are crucial questions. And the answers, well, they're going to be fascinating to watch unfold, both on screen and in the ongoing cultural conversation around it.
Definitely something to think about. Next time on Trending Unpacked, Sydney Sweeney's new campaign with American Eagle has fans and fashion blogs buzzing. Is Gen Z's denim queen here to redefine mall brands for the TikTok era?